Hello, my name is Emily Brooks, and I will be representing Team 36, the Shut-ins, along with Eric Yarbrough. For this presentation, we will be discussing the progress we have made on our COVID-19 remote monitoring tool application, followed by a demo of our app. Here is our updated architectural diagram as we have made one change to our architecture. We have decided to use SQLite for our database instead of MySQL because we do not need to store very much data in the database, as most of our data will be sent to the Fire server. We have made a few changes to our HDAP deployment pipeline. The deployment branch has been changed from deploy to develop. We removed unit and end-to-end tests from our pipeline steps because we plan to do manual testing instead, and we made a fix to support integration of the React router. Here is an updated diagram of our deployment pipeline steps. For this sprint, we have made a good bit of development progress. We have created front-end UI pages for the following pages: login, patient dashboard, clinician dashboard, account settings, device management, symptom selection, and clinician recommendations. We have also set up the routing for our application. The backend tasks we have completed are creating the login functionality, adding configuration files for the database connection, connecting the backend to a SQLite database, and starting work on data generation for our simulated medical devices. We have faced a couple development challenges so far. First, we had some trouble with finding an appropriate solution for posting and retrieving data from the Fire server, but we have since gotten this worked out. Another challenge we faced was the Spring Boot framework does not support SQLite out of the box, so we ran into unforeseen errors setting that up, which we have now solved. Here is an updated Gantt chart displaying our project timeline. We are approaching our last sprint before delivery, so we have added the rest of our remaining tasks to this timeline. In the next week of development, we plan to set up the backend deployment and simulated medical device deployment to HDAP, create our database schema, set up the interactions with the Fire server, set up the connection with our simulated medical devices, and continue connecting the front-end pages with each other. We will also begin creating the application for the simulated medical devices and begin creating the backend API for each page. This will take us into the following week, in which we will complete these tasks and integrate the front-end pages with the backend API. We will also develop our severity algorithm in the second week of the sprint. Now, I will pass the presentation over to Eric Yarbrough for a demo of our application.
Great introduction, Emily. Hello everyone, my name is Eric Yarbrough. I am one of the front engineers working on the COVID-19 remote monitoring tool, and today I'll be giving you a quick presentation of our application. As seen in front of you, we have the login screen where a user is able to enter in their login information and log into the system. Currently, we have two types of users that can log into our system, with one being a healthcare professional and the other being an actual patient. So a healthcare professional will be able to log in and perform administrative tasks such as viewing users and providing recommendations to patients. A patient will be able to log in and be able to see these recommendations and also see their biometrics that are being collected in the application. So I will log in as a healthcare professional. I will log in with the name Sally along with a password as well. And this will take us to the clinician dashboard for our application. Currently, we have an overview of the number of patients that are being monitored at this time. And each one of these patients has different biometrics that are being displayed through the clinician dashboard that a healthcare professional can see, and has kind of like a very high-level overview of each one of these different patients. On the top of the screen, he also has a counter as well, which gives him a very quick view to see how many patients require urgent care and how many patients are currently in stable condition. Patients that require more urgent care will be more likely to be admitted back into the hospital. One of the actions that we see to the side is we see a view action, and by clicking on this view action, it allows us to drill down into one of these patients. This shows us a overview of the patient dashboard here, and provides a number of different cards related to either a patient's biometrics or his risk score, which is basically a calculation of his biometrics, and basically gives you the likelihood that this patient needs to come back in to the hospital for treatment. He also has a number of recommendations that can be assigned to a patient, which is editable as well, and we'll see that in a second. At the bottom, we also have a list of healthcare professionals that are assigned to each one of the patients, and this will be editable as well. So another one of the screens that we designed in addition to this was the clinician recommendation screen. So from here, a healthcare professional can sign in and they can provide a recommendation, such as taking medication or some sort of care for the patient. They have a title and a recommendation details where they can enter all this information in that, and then provide kind of a date when that should be applicable for. And so when they click submit, it'll take us back to the patient dashboard. Another thing you can do with this application as well is we provide a symptom selection screen right here. And this is more particularly around the patients, where they can log into their side of the application and then click to basically enter in like the symptoms that they're experiencing. So whether this is cough or pain, pressure in the chest, or fatigue, they can enter in these details, and then a healthcare professional can review them and make actions based upon some of this information that's being collected. So for us, I'll select high fever and headache and click submit, and it'll take us also back to the patient dashboard as well. We also have the medical devices screen right here, which provides information on the different medical devices that a patient has attached to them. So for us, it would be like a heart rate monitor, or pulse oximeter, or Apple Watch, and they can either connect or disconnect different devices to a patient. Finally, we also have the account settings screens, which is for each one of the users, where they can go in and edit details such as name, password, or other personal information related to that user. And finally, when the user is done, they can click right here and click log out, and they're logged out of the application. And that is it. Thank you for watching the presentation.